Hello everybody, and welcome back to SC Aviation. Today we're going to be doing a nice setup of this beautiful MD-80 from X-Plane. So we are currently parked at gate 42 here in JFK, New York International Airport, and I'm going to show you how to set this airplane up for flight. So first of all, we want to check that flaps are up, gear is down, and the wipers, which is this little knob, is stored. Why? Because those are important structures and you want them to be stored, safe, not with any transition movements or something. So that's perfect. And then you can connect the electrical power. So there's our electrical power connected, and before starting, I want to show you how this airplane more or less works. It's way more disorganized than a Boeing 737, for example, but it's still a very good aircraft. Right here in the overhead panel, you have radios, and then you have everything named. For example, you can see here that it says electrical power, so this panel controls the electrical thing. You go here and you can see that it says APU, so that controls everything related to the APU. Then you have here fuel tanks, that's probably fuel pumps. You have here something that says engine, so that's related with the engine. Here it says ice protect, so everything regarding ice is going to be here. Here you see that it says, for example, air conditioning, so you're going to find those things here. And in this panel last, you're going to find other things. So for example, cargo doors, which in our example we're going to open, because I want to show you something with the ground services. But if there's something in this airplane that is disorganized, I'm gonna be honest, is the lights. Look at this. The tail logo light is here. The landing lights are here, while the strobe lights are here, as well as anti-collision and wing and engines. So in the 737 you have all of them carefully stored more or less here in this panel where it says ice protect, and here they are just all around the airplane. Also in the 737 you have your hydraulic panel right here. So in the 737 this panel divides into fuel, hydraulics, engine and air. Here, for example, you know where the hydraulic panel is? It's crazy. It's right here down, almost invisible. It took me a while to find it. So yeah, but well, we cannot control that. That's how the engineers design it. So we have to work with that. So once that our batteries set and connected to the aircraft, we're gonna start the APU. So for the APU, you need fuel, of course. So we're gonna turn on the fuel pump for starting, and our APU is pulling up. So we're starting to get power from the APU, and now we have APU power available, so we're gonna connect it. And an airplane is alive. You can see now that everything comes alive, and this little panel here, it's black because there's something that's called the IRS, and it's not aligned yet until now. You see it's now aligned, so it's gonna take a while. There it is. So our planes is starting to get nicer, and we're already receiving food. That's cool. So the next thing that you want to do here is to set up your flight plan. So in this case, we're not flying. I'm just gonna show you the flight plan, and I'm gonna also use this situation to explain you again how to make a flight plan. One more explanation never gets old. So you put first your departure airport, which is New York, Kilo, Juliet, Foxtrot, Kilo. This is aeronautical alphabet. And your destination airport, in this case it's Denver, so it's KDEN. Then your flight number, we can choose for our flight as the the call sign or the tail number is 50 November 552 Alpha Alpha, we can put our flight number as American Airlines 552. Why not? So American Airlines 552. That's it. And what you're going to do now is that in those little via and to gauges and gaps, you're going to put the selected waypoints of the flight. Now, you can get your flight plan using two software. They are called SimBrief and Navigraph. I'm gonna leave a link in the description for them. They are absolutely cool, and they give you real routes that real airplanes and real airlines fly. So by doing so, you're gonna find really good stuff. So in my flight plan that I'm generating right here in the computer, it says that for JFK, we are first gonna go to this. Okay, so our first waypoint is gonna be one called towing. Cool. And our next waypoint is going to be one called, if I'm not mistaken here from what I see, I'm gonna probably load up video on how to do this planning stuff, because it's actually really cool to understand how it works. So the next waypoint is spawn, S-P-A-W-N. Those are the two waypoints. On the VNAV, we're gonna select 180 knots below 5,000. We're gonna climb at 280 knots. We're gonna cruise at Mach 0.79. That's the speed I recommend. It's better for everything, and probably fly level 350. The descent, we're gonna descend at 280 knots. Okay. And now the departures. So at JFK, we are gonna be departing via runway 04 left, and we're doing the dis for departure. As you can see, there's one word in this page that you already know. It's towing, because we selected it. So that's gonna be our transition. So we select execute, then departure arrival index, and the arrival that we're going to follow is the one called Kohoe. Here it is, Kohoe 3. Our transition is again the one that we already selected, which is spawn. And for in, we're gonna be doing the ILS for runway 35 right. What's gonna be the transition for the ILS? That is a very good question. Let me go here to my flight plan. I repeat, I'm gonna show you all this later. And so our transition is gonna be bus. We select execute. We have some enable messages, but we're gonna check them later. So what you do now is that you go to Lex, and right here, oops, I turned on this. Right here in this panel, we want to select map and lower the range so that we can see here in this panel what the airplane is going to do. First, second, you want to get rid of, in this flight plan, of every vector or discontinuity you see. So vector right here. So you're gonna take the waypoint that's next and you place it right on vector. Execute. Next page, you also have a discontinuity. So select spawn and put it on the discontinuity. And we continue again. You have now here a vector and also a discontinuity. So you put it in the last one. Boss would go right here on vector, execute again. Next page, and there are no more of them. So that's cool. Perfect. Now you go to the flight, and from the first one you start moving. Let me choose this camera right here. And so keep an eye on this panel, on this map. While I press a step, I can see the route. Wait, I didn't like that. Roaming here, tune, Kohui, Slmon, Saye. So our route looks more or less good right here until we end runway 25 right. Let's look at the map and you can see the approach that we're following. That's completely awesome. So we check, we have our climb, our cruise. Actually, I prefer to select flight level 320. It's lower, it's better. And so that's it. You can see here that we have a descent and a climb. Cool, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to set the rest of the airplane up. So let's go first to the overhead panel and follow an order. That's what you always have to do. So we're going to start here. Here you cannot move many things, so it's okay. But you do want to put this into auto and give power to the galley, to the cabin, so that people can make coffee and all those things. Then we go back and we're gonna turn on the fuel pumps, as very soon we will start the engines. We go here, seatbelts on. Wait, it's not moving, I don't know why. Also no smoke. Ice protect. Here you only want to select windshield heating, unless there are icing conditions, but there are not icing conditions right now, so it's okay. And also, oops, pitot heat. There it is, pitot heat. Then going up here. Oh, this was what I wanted to show you. Oh, they are already left. Well, what I want to show you was that, do you see these little panels open? They are the cargo panels, they are great simulated. If I then go here and close them, you see that the doors are closing. It's awesome. Okay, so we are gonna continue our setup. Here you don't have many things to do except to turn on the yaw damper, which, oh, it's already on. Perfect. Make some stall test. Perfect. Tail logo lights can come on. Not necessarily, mostly at night, but I like them. And that's it. And wipers, of course, if there is rain, but there isn't. So, now we go to this panel. We're following an order, remember. Landing lights are off. Flight directors, we're gonna turn them on. And we're going to select here BNAV and LNAV. So this one selects GPS as the source. So you see here it says nav track. And also the other one, it's here. Autopilot will follow FMS altitude. So you hear altitude capture, navigation track, speed 180. You remember it was the first speed we selected here in climb. That's why it is. And altitude is in yellow because it means that it's the next thing that it will automatically connect to. Once we reach the cruising altitude, that orange thing is gonna become green. So this panel is set. Now here we want to turn our anti-collision lights because and also wing lights, why not? Because very soon we're gonna be starting the engine. So we continue here. We can do some fire tests. So everything is working. This airplane is very nice because you have a lot of more information. For example, you have this fuel quantity with exact numbers, and you see here, for example, that the gross weight is given. In the 737 you don't have that. So that is cool. Perfect. Now we go right here to the next panel. Here you don't have to do anything unless flaps once we start the engines, but not yet. Here are the radios. In explain, the ATC is not simulated, so don't touch that unless, of course, you want to tune frequencies and pretend you're listening to ATC. And last, Autobrake to takeoff. That's gonna abort your takeoff if you decide to. And it's going to make your life easier. So once that is done, we're going to go ahead and push back. So as soon as we push back and we start the engines, our flight setup will be finished. So I'm going to request push back to the right. You want to keep this window open so that you can see when the pushback truck tells you to, well, that's a little book there, yeah, I know. When the pushback truck tells you to turn off the parking brake. And I wanted to show you something, which is this little cool thing about this airplane. You can open the window. In the real one you also can. Okay, hey, I need your brakes off. Brakes off, and we're pushing back. So part of the start checklist is to have windows closed. I'm sorry, I'm gonna close it. And to start the engines, we're gonna make sure that there is fuel, which there is. Start pumps are on, and so we're gonna go ahead and start engine number 2. So you keep pressing on it. Sorry, I forgot, bleeder from the APU. You need air to start an engine. And so you can see here how the engine is starting. And then you go here and add fuel to it. And you can see that the numbers for the right engine are moving. Check that the thrust levers are on idle, nor accelerated. There is fuel flow. And you can also check visually. No, well, you cannot check really well. So engine number 2 is stabilized. Now let's go with engine number 1. You can listen how it starts. And so now add fuel to it. And now the numbers from the left engine are moving. I think our pushback just finished. No, not yet. Engine number 2 has started. It's correction, engine number 1. The one that we started first was number 2. There's always an order to do things. So now we're gonna select our parking brake. And now you see here that we don't have hydraulic pressure. We want to go, sorry, these views are actually a little bit difficult to work with. We want to turn on the hydraulic. So that when the hydraulics are on, this is your hydraulic panel. You see here, give pressure at the right hydraulic system. You cannot control the left one, sadly. Now you can select flaps for takeoff. And also do the control check. So we're gonna check elevator full up, center, full down, center, aileron full left, center, full right, center, rudder full right, center. Whoops, the rudder is not moving to the left. That's not good, so we have to check something there. And the speed brake handle. So that's set. Now we're going to get the power off the APU and to the engine. So we're gonna turn on the right generators and left generators, and we can turn off the APU generator. That's about electrical power. We can also turn off this here because now we're connected to the engines. And we can also turn off the APU master switch because we are now running on the engine. Also here you can get air from the engines. And let's check that everything is more or less working, sorry. This looks good, this looks good. We want to check that the airplane is set. We have our engines. The rudder is still not working. I don't know why. I'd like to know. And so, well, if I find it, I tell you. And so now we are just going to turn off the parking brake, and at this point we can start taxiing. Maybe a little bit more power. Get to the center line. And while we move nicely, that was it. Thank you very much for watching. If anybody is interested in having me explain a full takeoff and flight with the MD-80, please do so. This airplane is beautiful. It's a very popular airplane. Gonna take a screenshot here. So I hope you like this video, and we'll see you all next time. Bye bye.